Ooh.
Ooh, okay. All right, we're live now. Here we are, back at the Jfokus night hacking stage.
Yep. It's during the daytime as well.
It's during the day, and the day's coming to a close. The whole conference is coming to a close.
Oh, I've enjoyed it.
Very sad. Well, yeah, it's been fun, as always.
Yep.
Yeah.
As always.
And nice to see you again, Richard.
Same to you.
It has only been a week since I saw you in London. But we have a chance now to talk about the talk you just gave. What core enhancements
Polishing the diamond.
Polishing the diamond.
Core library improvements in Java 9. So yeah, I was talking a little bit about this is kind of one very, very big feature that people talk about a lot with Java 9, which is the kind of jigsaw, well, project jigsaw, the modularity system that some people view as being really exciting, some people view as a bit of a danger or a problem with their adoption of Java 9. But there's actually loads of other things that happen in Java 9 as well around the APIs, improvements to streams, collectors, collections, optional, completable future, which I didn't even have time to talk about in that talk because there were so many other things.
Really?
To
that
talk
many?
about.
So, you know, I was really surprised that a lot of developers still will say to me that all Java 9 is about is modularity. You just went off on 7 or 8 different things that you didn't even have time to cover in a 50-minute talk.
Yeah, and there's also redevelop print loop, or REPL as well in Java 9. So that's another nice developer tooling feature that we see there. So there's lots of these kind of little, like none of them are huge world-changing events, but they kind of add up to be a much nicer, smoother developer experience. Kind of don't have as many things to bump your elbows into.
Mm-hmm. So in your talk, which ones did you cover? What are your top favorites that you were able to cover in the talk that you just finished?
I covered the changes in streams, collectors, the collection factory methods, and optional. So no completable feature, because completable feature has a few extra methods, but one of them basically needs 20 minutes to explain on its own. So yeah, so I covered quite a lot of them.
All right. And there's the one that you normally cover in this talk, because I was commenting as I looked at your schedule earlier that you've done this talk a few times at a few different conferences.
Yeah, I've done it. I've run it a few times with my friend Raoul as well. We've run it as a joint talk together, and also once before on my own as well. But yeah, those are the usual kind of things we cover. Now, we've also done some completable feature talks which cover the completable feature improvements in Java 9 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, the one big one.
Yeah. And then in addition to covering the speaker circuit conference of Java development, you also do a couple other things like training on Java 9, Java 8, and Java 9 probably still.
Well, I run, we run with iteratelearning.com. We run a bunch of training courses in-house at people's companies. So we run training courses on Java 8, on reactive and asynchronous programming. So looking at different kind of modern computational models like completable futures, akka, reactive streams, things like that, I think developers are really like these kind of new exciting ideas that will help them improve their code base at work. So we run a number of training courses on that. As well as that, I also run and produce training courses for Pluralsight, the video training organization.
Right.
And I've also recently, with a friend of mine, started a business called Opsion, which is like a production, and I was going to say it's actionable monitoring. So many kind of tools that you see out there for understanding how your system performs in production, understanding what your performance problems and your monitoring is in production. They give you these beautiful, pretty graphs, but you don't necessarily know what to do. You don't know what to do with them. So we're focusing on the more actionable side of monitoring by having very, very low overhead production profiling. So that's a solution that will tell you exactly what it corresponds to in your code base, rather than the graph's gone up, what do I do? You'll know what your code is actually doing in production. Oh. So that's the direction that we're going in with that. Okay.
So those are some tools that you've written.
Yep. It's a Java agent that will work with any Oracle / OpenJDK JVM, plus a hosted monitoring platform on opsion.com.
All right. That sounds exciting.
Yes. Yeah, we think so. We think so.
So that's a new initiative for 2017?
For 2018.
Oh, you just started in 2018, it's brand new.
We've gone into beta at the beginning of 2018.
All right. And you're here doing some training as well in Sweden? You're doing some training of some developers?
Yep, running a reactive and asynchronous programming training course on Thursday and Friday of this week. So.
And would you say what the clients that you do training with are the majority of the trainings on Java 8, getting ready for Java 8, moving to Java 8, or is there more interest in learning about the improvements with Java 9?
I would say that so far we've run far more on Java 8, but it's kind of slowly moving to other newer, more exciting training courses as well. Not that Java 8 isn't exciting, Java 8 is a great release, but it's a few years old now, so there's a few other things we're running training courses around. So it basically depends on where you want to cut your time slice as to what the majority of these things are.
I was just curious, because I know Java 8 was really popular, right? I would say most quickly and readily adopted by developers in terms of excitement. And then when I go to different conference talks or JUG meetups, the majority of developers will say they at least tried Java 8. Even a lot of them in production, but Java 9.
Not so much.
Not so much, although I guess the downloads have been pretty high for Java 9.
I mean, I did have a chat with a few, well, not a chat, but I had a quick raise of hands at the beginning of the talk I just did as to how many people were on Java 9. Very few, some people were on Java 9 already, but wasn't very many. But there are a few more who are planning on getting on either 9 or 10 within the next year. So there's some positive signs of adoption there. But yeah, so I think it's just a release cycle that's going to have a much slower upgrade compared with something like Java 8, where it was easier to move and there was an obvious win, whereas here's a bit more subtle.
Right, yeah, and I think if you look at Java releases over time, that does tend to be a trend. It goes up and down, so that's the normal cycle of adoption in the Java world. And with faster release cycles, things are getting a little bit more exciting as well.
And as the release cycle moves on, you get more and more features with the new releases. There's always more and more reason for you to finally bump from 8 to whatever the release is at the time. 10's bringing type inference, and then hopefully at some point in time in the future we'll get value types, and data classes, and more powerful switch statements, and all the other good stuff that's coming down the road.
Right. And so we'll just end it with my last question, which would be, well, so what is your favorite new feature coming in the next 2 or 3 releases? What are you most looking forward to?
I think in 10, local variable type inference. It's a lot of, it's just a simple syntactic sugar feature, really. It's reducing the verbosity a little bit, but I think it's a very, very simple version of type inference. It doesn't have a lot of the problems that other more complicated type inference, like Hindley-Milner-based schemes do. It's very simple. I think people are going to love it. You see a bit of negative feedback, but I think most people are going to really love it. They're going to love how it just removes the boilerplate, removes the things you don't really want to be writing anyway.
Cool. And that's coming next month, Java 10 in March, right?
Yes.
And you can already download the early access build off of OpenJDK.
And hopefully, if you're planning on migrating, you probably should download the early access build, and things like CI servers like Jenkins let you set up a matrix build system, which sounds really fancy and complicated, but basically means you can run your code in CI with multiple different JDKs by just flicking a couple of switches and a bit of config. So totally worth trying that out as well.
All right. Cool. Well, I always learn a lot when I talk to you, Richard. So thanks for joining us here on the Night Hacking stage. Enjoy the rest of the conference, a couple hours that we have left. Let's see.